Welcome to our podcast, Parenting by the Pint. Enjoy the show.
Greetings, Minivan Mafia. Lauren and I are longtime friends from Chicagoland that love getting together to chat about life, kids, family, and beer.
Each week, we'll feature a brewery and sample at least 2 of their beers.
We'll also discuss a variety of topics ranging from parenting, pop culture, travel, marriage, and just about anything else that comes to mind.
Welcome back, everybody. Another fun-filled episode.
Yeah, here we go. Here we
Yeah.
go.
Nice.
Hopefully, our beer drinking experience has improved slightly.
We're jumping back into alcohol this time. So.
I feel like, we couldn't stay away for too long.
No, just a small deviation, and now we're back. So we are drinking 2 beers from Ike and Oak tonight.
Yeah, we're keeping it super local.
Super local.
This is like, I could almost walk to this place.
Right, yeah. We could bike over there. But, yeah, I haven't had them in quite a while, actually. So I'm kind of excited to try some new stuff from them that I have not had before. And, get back into the swing of things. And another fun topic, departing from, too serious right now.
Yeah, we went pretty serious last time around. And we've done a little bit of that. Even the last couple episodes have been a little grim.
We needed to lighten it up a bit.
So this one's going to be like way off.
Yeah.
The track, if you will, you guys.
like
and
it.
we'll get into that.
I
But
like it.
let's
I like it.
open our first Ike and Oak beer. I will say very quickly, not this one.
Nope,
I will say very quickly, I went to the brewery maybe about a month ago now.
Okay.
Maybe slightly more recently.
Okay.
And had a very positive experience
Nice.
tasting beer at the brewery.
Okay.
I had been there, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago even, maybe or plus or minus a little bit, being that 2 years ago was when the world was ending. So it might have been, less time than that.
Fair.
Or a lot more. I don't know.
Well, they're new. They just opened in 2019, so it shouldn't have been too long. So sometime within the last 3 years you were there.
I want to say we went kind of early on, but I feel like I've gone a couple times in that little span of time.
Okay.
And then I went recently with a good friend of mine.
Nice.
And the first 1 or 2 times I went, we did like flights, and they had 12 beers on tap, and a flight is 6. So my husband and I would just get one of each.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Each.
Yeah.
And their flights are very reasonable. It's like
Yes.
$14
Yeah,
or
so
something
totally.
like that.
Yeah.
So, spending $30 to try everything on
It's
the menu.
not bad at all.
It's like
yeah.
a great idea.
Yeah, I like that
Especially
plan.
because between me and him, we will drink almost anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
like it.
That was great. I did not do that with my friend when I went the last time, mostly because everything I had tried the previous time was like just okay. And I
Okay.
was kind of like, well, I don't know if I want to try everything.
Sure.
I'm just going to pick or choose. I did not sample the beer that I bought for
Okay.
us to drink.
Awesome.
But I was like, yeah, but it's a New England.
Yeah,
so
so we're gonna give it
we
a
have
shot,
to try it.
right?
It doesn't matter.
Yes.
It could be terrible. When me and Lauren are going to
still
drink
have
it.
to try. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
totally.
what we're going to get.
I like it.
So,
Good
of course,
plan.
I feel like this combination of beers
It's like us.
is representative of who we are as people.
Yes, 100%.
Because I got a New England and I got a barley wine.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. This
exactly
is like the epitome of,
This is a good night of beer drinking, you guys.
Yes, I'm a fan. Yeah, I think the last time I was there was like probably right after everything reopened after, the bad place.
Uh-huh.
And it's been quite a while. And you really can I don't think they distribute anywhere. I think you can buy them at the brewery.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
I
can't recall seeing it anywhere else.
I haven't seen this anywhere, and I haven't read about them distributing anywhere.
Right.
So, but who knows? That
may be
could
the
change.
case, yeah.
But yeah, so we're gonna drink this. What is this called? Mount Massive.
Mount Massive.
All right.
Got a nice little, I guess
It's
makes me
cute.
think of, the Colorado Rockies.
I would bet you money that this is supposed to be the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
So
Or maybe, Pacific Northwest.
Mhm.
Something like that.
the owner, is a big outdoors guy.
Okay.
Ed is his name. So he is not a brewer. He is just the financier. My guess is he was in some sort of business, faculty before. He's got 5 kids, I think, ranging in age from like 23 till I don't know. There's a lot of them.
I had one as a waitress.
Oh, okay.
She said her dad owned the brewery, her mom and dad.
Well, there
so
you
maybe
go.
this is who we're talking about?
Totally could be.
Husband
Yeah.
and wife?
Yeah, totally could be. So, so they opened in February 2019. So really they are one of the lucky ones to really have opened immediately before everything shut down. And
Yeah.
actually still survived.
Well, and the
through.
place seems to be doing very well.
That's
I mean, the
good.
couple of times that I have gone more recently, because
Yeah.
my friend Catherine that I went with,
Mhm.
like I said, maybe a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
we went before.
Sure.
Maybe it was last fall.
Okay.
So maybe only 6 or 8 months ago or something like that.
Sure.
And
Definitely seems
it
like it's
busy. I mean, they have the patio situation,
Yeah.
but theirs is very permanent. Like they have the garage door thing,
yeah.
and their patio is definitely something that was basically always going to happen.
Yeah.
And
They just couldn't use it right away.
yeah,
So-
and it just doubles the capacity
yeah.
of the place. But the restaurant is pretty good size to begin with.
It is. It was 4 retail spaces. So
Oh, wow.
they're in
Okay.
like a strip mall, essentially,
Yeah.
in Woodridge. And I believe it was 4 retail spaces that they worked with an architect firm to lay out. And actually, the owner, even before he brought on the head brewer, had purchased some equipment and different things, but it hadn't been installed yet. So the head brewer came on in October-ish of like 2018,
Okay.
when they were still kind of finalizing and the construction crew was still like working out details. So he got to actually set up like the space
Oh,
how he
nice.
wanted, and then it's essentially 4 retail spaces plus the outdoor area.
Right.
So it's a good chunk of space. It is, and always has been, both production brewery and brew pub, though. So there's a
Yes.
lot of places that we featured that are just tap rooms or
Yeah.
just production brewery, and they didn't move to food right away. They started with both. So-
Absolutely, yeah. I actually remember very early on they used to have this like corned beef and cabbage dish, which they don't have anymore, which is kind of sad. Although everything I have tried there I have really liked.
We had food when we were there. We brought the kids the first time we were there, and everything was very good. They started with predominantly pizzas, like Neapolitan style pizzas, when they first opened. But the chef there is local, but has experience working with a bunch of different, like, pretty famous chefs. Like the chef from Alinea, he worked under somewhere else, and like,
Oh, yeah.
so like he's got a lot of experience in different realms and studied under somebody who did like tapas as their specialty. So he's all over the place, but is well known, for what his experience. So yeah, but I guess when the owner, when he was coming up with like his ideas and whatnot, he went out to Colorado and kind of came back with like a plan to do like the original plan was like a craft beer gastro pub type thing, but then he really branched out more into like actual brewery with brew pub attached after he visited a handful out in Colorado. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I love their setup. And like I said, everything I've ever had there has been really good. My kids, I think we got a pizza when we took them. With the appetizers are it's kind of standard American fare when it comes
Sure.
to that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's well done. And it's like reasonable portions and pricing
Yeah.
and things like that. I have a funny Ike and Oak story that has nothing to do with Ike and Oak.
Okay.
But I feel like I have to tell it
Sure, why not?
because it's a weird random episode anyway. And why not?
Yeah, why not?
So I work in a business where we do a lot of sales and customer service.
Okay.
And one of our really good customers is this group of individuals that are basically like a promotional company. So
Okay.
we make signs, okay? So there's a couple of guys work in this office. They handle clients. It's not like an advertising firm. That's not how I would describe it because I think that's where people would initially go. They really just handle, I would almost call them a procurer because
They're like a broker almost?
A broker, yes.
Okay.
So they'll get, their clients who need forms. They'll supply that. They need real estate signs for a real estate company. They'll supply that.
Gotcha.
We have done complex installations. We've done things as simple as golf outing signs for companies and just kind of runs the gamut. They order everything.
Okay.
They've utilized every element of our business. Well, one of them, his son, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now, started working in the office as another salesman.
Sure.
And
so now you interact with him.
So now
as
we
well.
interact with him. He's a fair amount younger than the other guys in the office, and he's also even a fair amount younger than even me. And I'm a fair amount younger than the other guys in their office. So I fall kind of in the middle. I'm probably slightly closer to the son's age, but in the middle.
Okay.
So this guy, at this point when I went to Ike and Oak, have run it, had him come in a couple of times. They don't really come into our office a whole lot because we usually just ship things blind to their clients and stuff like that. So we don't really see them a whole lot.
Often, yeah.
But anyway, he comes in a couple of times. And so we're out, my husband and my kids, and we're at Ike and Oak. And my husband gets up to go look at what they have to go in the cooler.
Yep.
And it's at the front of the restaurant when you leave.
Yep.
And I'm sitting at the table with my children, and this guy comes in with a friend. And he sees me, and he's just like, "Oh, Carol, oh my gosh, it's so good to see you." And he bends down. I'm still sitting, and he hugs
gives you
me.
a hug.
He hugs me.
And you're like, "So
And
we hug."
At that moment, my husband comes back, and he stands up, and my husband is just like, "Hey."
Who is this guy
And
hugging my wife who doesn't really hug?
Yeah, and I'm just like, "Oh, this is so-and-so from such and thus."
Yeah.
He saw me when he walked in, and he's sitting over there, and he just came by to say hello. And Mike is, of course, just like, "Okay." And this guy leaves our table, and my husband and I talk about it later, and I go, "That's how you could tell that he wasn't like my friend or anything, because they would not have hugged me."
Right. Yeah.
But for some reason, this
He felt that hugging was
business
appropriate.
associate felt
Feel
that
like that's
hugs
not,
were okay.
Not really the appropriate reaction.
And the funny thing is that same person has actually hugged me at least one other time, maybe twice. And one of those times was in my office.
That's weird.
He came in and he walked up to me and he was just like, "Oh, Karen." He gave me a big hug. And I often talk to my brother about these interactions, and I ask him,
would they
have hugged you?
Yeah.
Would they have, I had another customer, and we talked about this at another time, where he touched my tattoo, which is on my upper arm.
Yeah.
And he moved my sleeve up
Yeah, that's not
to
appropriate.
touch it.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, would he have done that with my brother? And I landed on no.
Fair.
No.
Fair.
So
Interesting.
yeah, that's my Ike and Oak
So you've
socializing
got your
story, which is totally random, like I said.
Bringing people together.
But let's talk about this New England IPA.
Yeah. I know. I've been drinking it as you've been talking. It's a pretty solid New England IPA, an example of one. It's a little bit creamy. It's what you would expect from
It's
New England.
kind of exactly what you imagine. I think that's what I get from it. It's not too over the top.
It's definitely
with the
not.
flavors.
I've had others that are like over the
much
top.
stronger flavor.
Yes.
It's pretty mellow,
Yeah.
but it's also not dead.
No, this is totally drinkable.
This
This
is
is
a-
a good example.
You could definitely
Yeah.
buy and enjoy a 4-pack of this
for
and be
sure.
very happy with it. You could share this with people.
Yes.
It would be great for that. I think it's a really good.
Yeah. This is a perfect example
you could have
of
this
what,
in your beer fridge all the time
Yeah.
and plow through 4-packs of it pretty regularly.
I think that, this is a solid example of a New England IPA. This is dead on exactly what I expect when that's what the description is giving me. So this is solid. I like it. It's nice and creamy and smooth, and it's got all the things. I'm very happy drinking this.
Yeah. No, this is good and one of our favorite beer styles, so it's always nice to have a good one.
Yeah. No, this is good. This is solid. I like it. I'm happy that, the last time I was there, like I said, was quite a while ago, and I feel like maybe they were just kind of getting back into the swing of things. Like the owner at one point, during COVID said like they're literally on life support. Like they're barely making through.
Yeah.
They were struggling, as I'm sure everybody was. But again, they opened in February of 2019, like a month before the shutdown. And, then the world ended for a while. So I definitely think that probably when they first opened back up was not the best example of their best work. It would be my guess, because again, they were all just trying to make ends meet at that point. But this is solid, and I would very happily buy a 4-pack of this and continue drinking it by my pool or anywhere else, frankly.
Yes. Or I would drink a pint of this happily at the brewery.
100%.
Really
I feel like I need to go back. The food was good when I was there. Like I was totally happy with that.
Yeah. After my last visit, I feel like this needs to go into the rotation for me and my kids and my husband.
Yeah.
As a, obviously we don't go out to eat
all
super
the time,
often.
But can totally be added to that.
Yeah, this could be a place that I would suggest and feel good about going.
I like it.
Every so often.
I'm going to suggest it. Also, the thing about Ike and Oak is that, which it's hard for me to go to breweries with my husband because he doesn't drink beer, but they have a menu of cocktails and other things. So there's something for him, there's something for me, there's food for the kids. It's a great place if there's people that you're bringing that may like beer and they could try a flight. Or if they don't, there's other options. And there's not always that case when we're talking about a lot of these craft breweries, because they are small and they're a tap room with a food truck, or they don't have any other cocktails. They only really do have beer, which is great for us, but not for necessarily everybody. So this is a really good place if you have people that are looking for things that aren't just that, but also have solid beer and you want both. So I'm super happy with this. But so they opened in February 2019. I kind of mentioned that the head brewer came on in October of 2018. So the owner came up with the idea, bought the property, started kind of, working with the architect firm before he even had a brewer. And he is not a brewer. He's full out said that. So, but he actually, the head brewer is Nathan, and he started home brewing in 2010 when his girlfriend or wife, whatever, I'm not sure what she was at the time, bought him a homebrew kit. But the majority of his experience has been in breweries. So he wanted to try working in a brewery, and he put his resume out there, and then he talked to some people, and they were like, you should change that up and be like, I want to volunteer in a brewery, or I would like to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, I get it.
I mean, he was in a business. Like he left he left his accounting role to move into brewing. So, but he started in 2011. So shortly thereafter at Two Brothers. So he worked there for a couple of years. Then he actually joined Lagunitas when they opened in Chicago in 2013.
Oh, okay.
So before the first 3 weeks of him working for Lagunitas was in Petaluma to learn what they were doing and how to set up Chicago. So he, did that. Then he went to Beta Brau, which is closed now. But that was for a couple of years, 2015 on, and then that went out of business. And he wound up joining Ike and Oak right before they opened, so in 2018. So he's really been a part of a lot of upstarts of places. And so he had the experience, setting up a brewery and doing that. So it was good for him. Now, he did say, for example, in 2019 when they opened, what Lagunitas made in a day was what Ike and Oak would make in a year. Yeah. So huge, vastly different in terms of production, but this also gives him a lot more opportunity to experiment and come up with different recipes. And it's his ideas, it's his recipes. He does have a little bit more freedom in that he's not making, a ton of one type and it doesn't work out. And then, so it gives you a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more artistic freedom, I guess, when you're working in a small batch batch versus very large scale. So pretty cool. Like I had said, unlike a lot of other breweries, they started right off the bat with food, which is a selling point for a lot of families and things. They are in a suburb, so there's a lot of families in the area. They're in a strip mall right by a movie theater. Like there's a lot
but
of
like a pretty big I don't know what you would call that area.
It's a complex. It's not like
it's got the theater. It's got like to-go pizza place
down
it's got
the street.
Like a Starbucks.
There's an ice skating rink. Like there's a large buildings in this complex. But yeah, so I guess it looks almost like multiple strip malls because there's like roads in between them. But it's a retail area for the most part.
I think that's about right. I mean, it's not a mall because it's not mostly stores.
No.
It's mostly food related.
Yep. Yeah.
And then like the
activities.
theater. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, it's a good, I think that their location, the fact that they do have food lends itself well. I don't know if they would have done as well not catering to family oriented or kind of a broader market than just the brewery. So I think, as a business decision, it was good. It's got a signature big grain silo out front that says Ike and Oak on it that you see from everywhere. The fun thing about them, I was just going to tell the story of what Ike and Oak came from. So oak essentially, so I was saying that I would bet that this is the Rocky Mountains. Rocky Mountains do have some native oak trees, but they also have a bunch of oak groves. The owner is a big outdoors guy, and one of a family story about camping was a trip to the Rocky Mountains. They were camping in an oak grove, and a bear came into their campground, did some damage, rummaged through things. Later, they found out from a park ranger that was Ike the bear. So he was known to, if you leave food out, if you do things, to rummage through and, kind of disturb some campers, and they've named him Ike. So that is the Ike from the Ike and Oak. And it was an oak grove, but they also obviously oak barrels, things like that. It's a good, addition. So Ike and Oak is really about Ike the bear that came through their campsite, which is on multiple. I think it might be on most of their cans. He's on this other one too at the top.
Ike is
and he's
on a hang glider.
Yep, and he's in their just general logo is Ike holding an oak leaf. So
nice.
So that is where Ike and Oak came from.
I love it.
Ike the bear. So that's his name.
That's such a cute story.
Yeah, right? I thought it was cute.
Yeah.
So. All right. Anyways, so on to other topics for tonight.
Yeah. So naming your brewery after a bear. I really like that. That's
right?
good.
I'm a fan.
Let's keep going down the world of imagination.
I like it.
And talk about something super random. We did the episode where we talked about what you would do if you won the lottery.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is not a far cry from that. Although I'd like to hope that we both decided to take this to a different level.
Could buy maybe you could with millions of dollars, but we went with different ideas.
So we're going to talk about if you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
Yes.
I made the choice to pick things that could not be bought.
Okay.
That they're not. I don't want to pay off all my debt. I don't want.
I don't
want to pay bills.
I purposely didn't be like, I want an annuity that's going to give me money every year.
I don't want a tiger as a pet. I can buy one of those. Not fair. As one of my wishes.
Okay.
I could get a tiger as a pet. I mean,
true.
but not as a wish.
All right, cool.
So for me, my wishes were all things that were not obtainable if money
millions of dollars
was the obstacle in my way. Because if I won the lottery, I could get that thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Or if hypothetically my financial situation changes in some fashion, then that thing becomes available.
Sure.
I wanted it to be things that are just plain not possible for me.
Got it.
Some are not possible for any human beings, but some are not possible for me. I meant to ask my children to weigh in on this subject, and I'm going to hypothesize on some of their answers because I forgot to actually ask them.
Okay.
And I know you did ask your kids, so I'm really excited
so we can,
to hear about that.
Mine were somewhat still money related because, they're kids.
I feel like that's what. So I think if I told my kids my 3 wishes, they would follow my lead. So that's kind of the angle I'm going to come from.
Didn't say anything. I just flat out said, if you had 3 wishes,
what would you wish for?
Yep.
So for me, the first thing, well, I would want to have a superpower.
Yes, same.
So then the question becomes, well, what would your superpower be? And, there's the obvious ones, like being a speedster, like the Flash, and running fast, or being able to fly. And I've always said that I would want to be able to manipulate magnetic fields, which is what Magneto from the X-Men does. So Magneto is able to basically, in the simple fashion, manipulate metal. So, for example, in one of the movies, he manipulates the iron in someone's blood, which means that Magneto could technically fly because he could do that with himself.
Interesting. So you could get multiple things from one
superpower. I feel like manipulating magnetic fields is going to do everything I need it to do. Okay. So that would be wish number 1 would be.
That's fair. I chose, and this is really more of a travel thing and being in multiple places thing. I wish that I could teleport. So that would be more I did go that route, though, but that would be my superpower.
Well,
I don't want to be able to read minds. I don't really want to be able to just fly.
Reading minds would be horrible.
Right? I don't actually want that at all. So teleportation is what I would like to be able to do. So
I gotta tell you, I love that you just said that, because my second wish would be that teleportation exists and is readily available.
Okay, all right.
Because while I enjoy the idea of me, because I thought
you'd
of teleportation,
to be able to,
I'd like
have
everybody
be able to do
be able to do it.
Right,
so I'd like for me to just it's like having a cell phone where you just have like a wristband.
You have the ability to just
walk into the teleportation station like you would go to the bus stop,
like on Loki.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's wish 2 for me.
All right, cool.
Which is that everybody can teleport, but it doesn't have to be. I'm not talking about everybody having a superpower. I just mean it would be like those things that we just listed, where it's just kind of like, it's sort of a luxury, but it's not the luxury like going into space would be a luxury right now.
Yes.
Where if you're not a billionaire, you're not doing it.
Because
I don't want just billionaires to be able to teleport. That sounds terrible. I want everybody to be able. If you can get a bus ticket, you should be able to teleport.
Okay, I'm with you. So
and it just,
teleportation was one. My second one was essentially the turn water into wine, but turn something into what I want it to be. So it's not about like being able to have someone cook for me or whatever. It's, I want this. This is what this is going to be. So that's I guess it would kind of be a superpower. It's totally unreasonable. I don't know what it would be, but I have a cheeseburger and I want it to be prime rib. That's going to happen.
You just, kind of a like your wish is my command, kind sort of
right?
like on demand type thing.
So I don't know what to call it, but that's be my description of.
That's very interesting.
So again, not something you can buy.
I gotta say, you and I have very similar feelings on 3 wishes, because we basically kind of lined up so far.
It's kind of like it's all. Again, it's all things that don't currently exist and I couldn't buy.
Well, and that's the attitude that I had with mine. And I'm going to now go into my third wish. Okay. I know we're moving through really fast, but I do have some thoughts on my kids, too.
Okay.
And not every episode has to be an hour long, you guys.
Fair.
As much as we enjoy going on and on and on about why non-alcoholic beer is not good. Anyway... my third wish, and I had to think on this a little bit because I wanted to, like you said, you weren't really sure how to format
how
this
to explain.
Second wish. I want things to be what I want them to be.
Fair.
So for me, my third wish would be, once I learn something, I want to immediately be really good at it. So for example,
that's a good one.
Yeah. Like golf or sewing or driving or skiing or any skill
I love that one.
Yeah,
I wish I would definitely like that would
took
be.
me a bit to come up with this third wish.
That's a good one.
And it's just that I don't need to have a photographic memory. That was something I thought of at one point.
That's kind of mine.
That would be fun to have
memory.
like a photographic memory and never forget, because then you could literally do anything for a career. And if academics or anything like that ever slowed you down with motivation, you don't have to worry about that anymore because you have a photographic memory.
Yeah.
So I thought that. I was like, well, maybe I would do that. But then I was like, but it's not that I don't want to have the job that I have. I don't want to be a professional skier. I don't need to be a professional golfer.
Yeah.
I just want you to show me how to do it, and then I do it, and then I'm good at it.
I would totally switch my third one to be this. My third one is much more like the photographic memory. It was more to have additional brain capacity to be able to read things quickly and retain more information.
Okay.
So I want to be able to retain everything I come across. So like
Sure, yeah.
right now I feel like when I read something, at some point it just leaves. I don't recall. There's not that recall.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to retain all of the information and have recall of everything that either I participate in, see, read. So photographic memory, but also the what goes with that. So that would be mine, but I like the being able to be good at.
But you're leaning
everything.
toward maybe
I'm
mine.
leaning towards.
You know what you can do is see, we can take we can work together.
I like it. Yeah.
And we can I can keep the teleportation
Yeah.
wish, and you can take off your superpower, and we'll have teleportation.
Perfect.
And you can keep photographic.
See, we need to find a genie. And the ironic part when we talked about this was we literally just watched Aladdin the other day.
That's so
and
funny.
Not the new Aladdin with the crappy Will Smith genie who doesn't look normal, like the original Robin Williams genie Aladdin,
such
the
a good
one.
movie.
Yeah, and I was like,
that is a good one.
So, and I was like, all right, so you can't bring people back from the dead, you can't make anyone fall in love, the caveats.
Yeah,
so.
you can't do that. And I didn't consider any of those.
No, I wouldn't have.
As
but
possibilities.
I was going through in my head since we had just watched it. But yeah, so I like these. I did ask my children, or I asked the twins, and my daughter did say she wants a Jeep. I don't know why a Jeep. A lake house.
Okay.
And then she wants to be a professional singer and theater person.
See, I think my older son would say something like that and would want to be like a professional baseball player, which is a sport he has never really played, but that would be what he would say. Yeah. He would say, I want to be a professional baseball player.
She wants to sing and dance and act. So that's what she wants. That would be her third wish. Her twin brother said he wants to own his own winning lacrosse team. Mm-hmm. So he could own a team. He can't. I mean, the wish would be if they're a winning team, I guess.
Yeah,
you can't control that. He wants to vacation to Europe, which we could pay for.
I think that's feasible.
And then he wants to own Cooper's Hawk wineries because its name is Cooper. So he wants to own Cooper's Hawk because he thinks it's his. So
I love it. I love it for so many reasons. I like it because it's got his name in it, and I like it because he knows about Cooper's Hawk.
Yes.
And I feel like that's maybe you have a role in that.
Perhaps. It's possible. But
so I like it for all of those reasons.
So there is a factor of the I can't buy being good at singing and dancing.
Yes,
or
that's good.
Can't pay for your lacrosse team to be good. So some of it is still
there are still kind of wishful thinking.
There are
type
still
things.
wishful thinking in there.
I think if I asked my kids what superpower they would have, and we've had that conversation in the realm of for example, when we watched Encanto.
Oh yeah.
We asked, well, who would you want to be? What
I know
superpower?
exactly. My son would want to be Camillo. He wants to be a shapeshifter.
The shapeshifter?
100%.
That's so interesting. Neither of mine said Camillo.
1,000% what he would want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My one son kind of shifted back and forth between being Luisa, because she's super strong.
Yep.
But then maybe also being Julieta, who is a healer.
Yes.
Because I think that while, the strong seems like the lead and is going to be out front fighting, but the healer is also supporting everybody.
Yeah, totally get it.
And my other son was pretty interested in Bruno. I'm not gonna lie. Telling the future does sound cool.
sound reasonable. I
Yeah.
can't argue with that. I don't know what my daughter would pick. She definitely goes back and forth between many of them, but my son 100% would want to be the shapeshifter.
That's
totally.
good. That's pretty cool. In terms of like superpower, I think kind of in the same line, my one son would want to do something a little more psychological, a little more mind control-y, like
Cyborg
Bruno.
would
Like,
probably be my kids.
yeah,
Which isn't really any of those, but
yeah.
kinda,
I don't
know all his powers, so.
Oh, right. Well, he like influences technology.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
that's my best guess
So,
description.
yeah.
And then I think my other son would just be Spider-Man-ish. You know, that would be, he would want to have good fighting skills,
Yeah.
a sense about things, you know, strong, young.
Fair, yeah. I would guess my son would either be that or just the Flash. She'd be like super fast. That
Yeah,
would be like
I wouldn't-
basic.
I would not be surprised if either one of them picked the Flash
Yeah.
or that
Though
skill.
I don't think either of them would pick like Superman, like the typical. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that
Yeah.
would be a thing. So, but
Superman's it's too easy an
right,
answer.
yeah, it's
You can't
too.
say you want to be Superman.
Yeah, it's too typical. You gotta go something else.
I mean, why don't you just say I can't die and I can hurt
At all.
everyone?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I win.
because that's Superman.
Pretty
like,
much, right? Yeah, exactly. So, all
Right?
right. Well, let's open this other beer we're going to drink, which also
Old
has
Faithful.
Ike on here.
Yeah, he's getting blown up into the air by Old Faithful.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that.
So this is an American barley wine.
Ooh,
It's an
smells good.
apple brandy barrel aged.
It smells very.
I'm very excited about it. I'm almost sad that it's the last that we're drinking it at the end because I want to enjoy this. I gotta
Ooh.
take a sip of water while you weigh in.
It's strong.
Yeah.
It's very strong. You definitely get hints of that brandy though. At least I definitely do.
Yeah, and cinnamon, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cinnamon's pretty forward. The
Yes.
taste I had of this.
The aftertaste to me is pure cinnamon.
Yeah.
So like I'm getting the flavors, but like that sticks with me is
Yeah.
that cinnamon taste.
Definitely.
But not too much of the alcohol burn. I wonder what ABV this is.
11.6, I think.
Okay,
that
yeah,
said.
you're right. Like you can feel it, but it's not like overpowering. I feel like maybe the cinnamon kind of brings that down a little bit or masks that alcohol taste.
Yeah.
But I'm getting more of that cinnamon on the end. But you definitely get the brandy. I mean, solid barley wine. This is really tasty.
Yeah. They had a couple variations of it. So they had this, and then they had like a Jamaican rum one.
Ooh.
And I think they had just straight
barley wine.
without an adjunct, without
Aged. Yeah.
without a barrel
Barrel.
age. Yeah.
No, this is tasty. This
Yeah.
is very like I don't know. This isn't a summer drink to me though. This is like this is a
fall.
sit by
This
the
is
fire.
campfire
like
beer.
this is a sit by the campfire with a blanket and drink my well, almost like an apple cider. Like it's not, but you
Yes.
know that type of a feel.
that's the
Like,
mindset that you're getting
yes,
from
that's
it?
the cozy mindset that I'm getting when I drink this beer. So I'm
Yeah.
putting myself in that environment right now.
I'm getting that. Yeah, that's good. We should have sat outside for this episode and gotten eaten alive by bugs.
Yeah, let's not do
and
that. No, this is fine.
also
Inside
drank
is
this beer.
fine. But this is very tasty. Both of these are really good. I feel like maybe the last time I was there, I think I did a flight as well, and I didn't love most of them. And so maybe that's part of the like, oh, I haven't thought about them as much.
Yes.
But from drinking these two, I'm super now more interested in
Right?
giving them another visit. You know, like these were both, and the thing is that we like both of these styles.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not more critical, but like if it's not a good depiction of that style, I'm not gonna like it as much. You know,
Right.
like. So, but these both are really like they totally hit the mark with what their description is and what they're trying to do here.
Yeah.
So
I was very, very pleased with the samplings I had with this brewery, including these two beers. I
Yeah.
tasted the apple brandy barley
Okay.
wine, and I bought Mount Massive, and it had a can before you and I got together. So I knew what to expect.
Yeah.
And I also sampled other things at the brewery.
Yeah.
And was very pleased. Okay.
Yeah,
so I feel really good about Ike and Oak. Yeah. I hope that, they're at the point where now we've all gotten over the hump. Yeah. Hopefully.
Right. And obviously the fact that they're still around though, and they made it over kind of thing, especially because they opened literally like in the worst possible time.
I know.
I'm hopeful that this will continue them growing and people be interested. And like you said, if they're busy, I think that it's a great business model for where their location is. Plus they do have these are solid beers. Like I would go for the beer, and the food and everything else is there. So it just kind of is a added bonus to being able to have all those things in one place. So I will definitely give them another try again sometime soon. For sure.
I recommend it. And if you're ever in the western suburbs after you go see your movie, you can stop at Ike and Oak and have a pretzel and a pizza and a flight of beer, and you will not regret any of those.
Sounds perfect. Yeah, Woodridge. If ever in Woodridge, look them up. Ike and Oak. Look for the bear.
Yeah, he'll be there.
Sounds good. Well, thank you guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone, for listening to the latest musings from Parenting by the Pint.
Be sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and make sure that you rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you find your podcasts.
Have a great week, and cheers to you all.